A final note on graphic novels before we turn to Persepolis. I would say that if this is a form that appeals to you, one thing just as a general rule of thumb to keep in mind is that if you head into that comic book store and you really want to pick out something that's interesting to you, one thing generally to avoid is to choose a comic book based on a hero that you like. So for example, I tend to really like Batman. But one thing I've learned is I can't just go into the comic book store and pick up the latest Batman comic book, because more important than the character in the world of comics and graphic novels is the author. And once you realize this, it makes perfect sense, right? You want the best storyteller. And so what I tend to do when I go to the comic book store is I know I really like the author Grant Morrison. So I'll look for his work. Maybe he's writing about a character that's not as important to me or not one of my favorite characters, but I know that if Grant Morrison is writing it, that for me personally, he is going to just write it so well and in such an intriguing fashion that I want to check it out. So find out who those good writers are. And so I'll recommend some of them that I like now. Grant Morrison, I have these listed there. Marjane Satrapi, who we're reading her work, Persepolis. Alan Moore, Art Spiegelman, Michael Bendis, and Matt Fraction. And those are some I'd recommend if you head in there, and generally these are great authors, I think, and I hope that you enjoy reading their works. If not, find out who you enjoy. Send an email to me about an author that you've discovered that you like, a graphic novel writer in this form. And yeah, so this is the end of the section here talking about graphic novels in general.